Alright, in this video we're going to review how to solve absolute value equations, and I'm going to show you a little trick of how to check your work, okay, to see if you're correct or not, okay? So, first problem we're going to do is absolute value of 3x plus 12 plus 7 equals 7, okay? Alright, so step one is to isolate it, okay? An isolated absolute value is when there's nothing on the outside of the absolute value bars. Well, I have a plus 7 that I need to get rid of, so I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides. When I do that, I get the absolute value of 3x plus 12 equals 0. Now, the next step is to set what is inside the absolute value equal to the positive and negative of the right-hand side. Well, 0 doesn't have a positive or negative, so this is going to be an example of where there's only going to be one solution because 0 only has itself. There's no positive or a negative version of 0. So you're just going to solve it like a linear equation now. Subtract the 12, divide by 3, and x is going to be negative 4. So this will be an example of a one solution problem, okay? So if your absolute value, when it's isolated, if it equals 0, then you're only going to have one solution. Okay, so my answer here would be negative 4. Now, how can you check your answer here? Well, you're checking your answer is super easy with a graph if you treat it like a systems of equation. Okay, so anytime you need to solve an equation, all you have to do with Desmos is the left-hand side is line 1 in Desmos, and right-hand side is line 2, and you're trying to find where they intersect at. So I'm going to go to Desmos, okay? Pull Desmos up. So we got the answer to be negative 4. So let's see if that's what we get when we do this tip and trick of checking our work. So left-hand side, line 1. Oh, hold on. It's been a minute since I've done this. Let's pull this up. Okay, all right, so left-hand side, line 1, and you need your y equals. So my left-hand side was y equals absolute value of 3x plus 12, and then it had the plus 7 on the outside. Whoops. There we go, plus 7. All right, that's left-hand side. Right-hand side, it was just 7, so it's going to be y equals 7. Okay, so you're going to go to where these intersect, which is right here. And look at what your x value is. My x value is negative 4. Isn't that exactly what we got when we solved it by hand? Negative 4. So, those of you that are struggling, this is a great way to check your work. Okay? All right, so let's do another one with the check your work process. Okay? You still have to know how to solve it by hand because when you take higher level maths, you will need to do this for certain things, okay? All right, so the next one is going to be the absolute value of 3x minus 7 plus 7 equals 2. Isolate it. So to isolate it, we've got to get rid of what is not inside the absolute value, which would be the plus 7. So we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. When I get that, I get the absolute value of 3x minus 7 is equal to negative 5. In absolute value, it is always positive. So, if something is always positive, can it equal a negative? No, sir. So, this would be a no solution. Okay? So, what does a no solution look like on the graph? So, again, we're going to do our trick to check our answer because we showed our work. Now, we're going to check our answer. Right here, left-hand side, line 1. Right-hand side, line 2. Okay? So let's go back to Desmos. Exit what we got. All right, so left-hand side. And you see when I do this, I'm going to the original problem. Not going to the isolated problem, I'm going to the original problem, okay? So y equals the absolute value of 3x minus 7. And then we're going to have the plus 7 on the outside, okay? All right, and then it equaled 2, so we're going to now have y equals 2. All right, so you're looking to where these two graphs intersect. Well, do these graphs intersect? These graphs do not intersect at all. So if they do not intersect, is there an answer? No, which is exactly what we got with no solution. Okay, so if they don't intersect, that just shows you that your no solution is correct. All right, let's do one more. Okay, one more. So we're going to come down here, number 3. And it's going to be the absolute value of 3x minus 7 plus 7 equals 9. Again, we need to isolate the absolute value. So you need to get it isolated. And in order to get it isolated, we have to get rid of this plus 7. So we're going to subtract the 7, subtract the 7. When I do that, I get the absolute value of 3x minus 7 equals 2. It's positive, we're good. 2 has a positive and a negative side. Okay, so we can break this up into the 2 cases, and we can say 3x minus 7 is equal to positive 2, and 3x minus 7 is equal to negative 2. Okay, and then we're just going to solve both of them. So I'm going to say plus 7 plus 7. So 3x will equal 9 divided by the 3, and x equals 3. So that's one solution. Over here, we're going to do the same process, but we'll get a different result. We're going to say plus 7 plus 7. I get 3x is equal to 5 divided by 3. That can't be simplified, so x is just going to equal 5/3. Okay? All right. So let's check our work with the graph. Again, left-hand side line 1, right-hand side line 2. We go back to Desmos. Okay? And we're going to say y equals the absolute value of 3x minus 7. And then it's going to be plus 7. And then right-hand side's line 2, which is going to be y equals 9. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why am I still making you show your work? Well, we just got a fraction as an answer. Okay? So it's very important to go ahead and show your work and then check it, especially if you get a fraction, because if you look, I got x equals 3, which is what I have over here, but I've got 5/3 over here, and on the graph it has 1.667. Well, let's type in 5/3. So you type in 5/3, what is that? 1.667. And that's exactly what I got here. So my 5/3 was correct. Okay? All right. So that is how that's the reviewing of how to solve an absolute value equation. And I've also showed you how to check your work using your graph. Okay? So make sure you're using that resource on your test, checking your work. You'll still have to upload your shown work, but it's good to check your work because it's basically like checking your test and grading it yourself if you go ahead and check it on the graph. Okay? All right, guys, so that's it for this section of the review.